Greetings, good people. Can you do me a favor and grab me my head, my earbuds back there? I think I would prefer to use these. Welcome, guys. If you're joining us, I am H. Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class, and we're talking tonight about how to use the U.S. tax code to build wealth. We're talking about the $13 business that the IRS, Uncle Sam, does not want you to know about. So I'm excited to bring you some information. Just bear with me. I'm going to shoot out a couple other posts out on Facebook real quick. So just bear with me as I get these posts out to bring my lunch back right there, sugar. Thank you. I think that should be in there. So I just got a couple last minute posts I'm going to push out. Um, Maybe not. Looks like my computer is slowed down now that we just started the broadcast. Um, but real quick, if you grab the link from the URL, and if you know anybody that you think could benefit from the information we're going to be sharing tonight, by all means, tweet it out, post it on your Facebook wall, email them, text them, whatever you need to do. I got some powerful information for you guys tonight, and I just want you to get as many people on live as we can, because this information could set you up literally for your 2016 to be the very best year ever financially. And we know that when you set yourself up financially to have the best year ever, a lot of other things fall in line as well. And not that money is everything. We know that money is not everything. But in the words of Kanye West, having money's not everything, but not having it is. Poor people tend to think about money a lot more than wealthy people, simply because so many of your day-to-day decisions involves money in some capacity, and when you're limited in that area, it can become a stressor for you. So tonight we're going to talk about how you can overcome some of those challenges and build wealth using the United States tax code. I believe, without a shadow of a doubt, the United States tax code is the uh, greatest wealth building tool on the planet. And problem is, not a lot of people know how to use it to actually build wealth and create wealth for themselves. But that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So give me a few minutes. It's just the top of the hour right now. I'm going to give people a few minutes to jump on. So if you're on, just type in the comments. Let me know where you're dialing in from, where you're viewing from. And in the meantime, I'm going to pop another couple posts out on Facebook. Just to spread the message out even further. Because I like doing what I do. I like sharing this information. I believe that everybody on this great planet that we live on has the ability to acquire wealth. But the problem is they're lacking in the information of what it actually takes to build wealth, guys. And there are certain strategies, there are certain things that you need to have in place in order to build wealth, especially the type of wealth that I'm talking about, that multi-generational wealth, that long-lasting wealth, that wealth that you can pass down from one generation to the next, and almost automatically that wealth that builds upon itself without very much effort. Now, it takes effort to protect that wealth, but once you build wealth in a certain fashion, it in and of itself will continue to accrue and build upon itself. And then, of course, that is another job in and of itself to protect said wealth. But we can talk about some strategies on how to do that as well. So if you have any questions for me, don't be feel afraid or hesitant to drop them in the chat box. I'm here to have a conversation, because this is kind of impromptu in the sense that We have this special promotion going on that I want to talk to you about a little bit later tonight. But I just really wanted to come to you guys. If you follow me before, you know that I used to do these on a regular basis, and I kind of gotten busy and gotten away from it. But I still have a goal of helping 100 families in the next 10 years reach the millionaire status, become a millionaire household. Starting, of course, with my own family. I am not a millionaire household. I'm not ashamed to say that, but I have partnered with some multi millionaires who are training me on what it really takes to build wealth. And as I learn, I definitely want to do everything that I can to share that information with as many people as I can. And I hope that I am sharing it with people who will take action and do something with that information, guys. So, real quick in the chat box, just let me know where you're chiming in from. I'm here in St. Louis, Missouri. Weather's not bad for mid-December, which is not unusually strange because St. Louis, our weather, man, is you kind of literally can go from hot to cold in a 12 to 24-hour span. And just right now, it's hovering around 40 degrees. But just 2 days ago, we were near 70 in December. So it's a little weird, but you kind of get used to it living in St. Louis. I was actually raised here. I wasn't born here. I was actually born in Tupelo, Mississippi, where Elvis Presley was born, of all people. And I like to joke that I was born in the same hospital, but in fact, it was probably born in a time where he was born at home and not in the hospital. But most of my life, since age 9, I was raised here in St. Louis in a poor community. Fourth of 6 children to a single mom. Shout out to my mom for doing all that she could to try to keep us out of trouble, but at the same time try to prepare us for this cold, hard world, especially where we came from, because a large portion of my life we were on welfare. Um, and she did the best she could to kind of provide for us and protect us and keep us safe and that sort of thing. But when you're growing up in poverty, man, there's a certain mindset that tends to set in with people who grew up in a poverty-stricken conditions, and it's hard to overturn that mindset. And we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight as well. So I just want to give you guys a few minutes to get on. Give me a couple more minutes. I just put out a few more requests to get people join us live. But if you're checking us out live, then definitely type in the message box where you're calling from, your name, or where you're viewing us from, and we're going to get right down to the meat of this content within the next 2 to 3 minutes, guys. And I just want to share with you what it is that I know about building wealth, what I'm doing in my life that's working for me, that's taking me from one level to the next financially. And I believe that it can work for anybody who's willing to work it. But it does take a different mindset. Some of you may have to learn some new things, which is okay. Don't be afraid to learn some new things, because one thing I like to say, that if your current mindset could make you wealthy, guess what? You would be wealthy already. All right. It's that simple, because we are a sum total of our habits. So if you had habits that will put you on the trajectory to have wealth, you'd have it, or you feel pretty confident that you're on your way. And I will tell you personally, I'm coming from a place where, again, raised on welfare as a kid, to a single mom, one of 6 kids. But even early on in my young adult life, not understanding how money works, not understanding how or what it takes to build wealth, just basically grinding every day like a lot of you guys are, day to day. You're working hard, and it seems that your money just seems to get away from you. You can't do the things that you want to do. I know what it's like to struggle. I've been in positions where I was in foreclosure. I've been in positions where I've been evicted from apartments. I've been evicted, when you in that situation, I had to go back home and live with mom as an adult and sleep on her couch and things like that. And at that time, I even had kids. believe it or not, because I just couldn't get it figured out on what it really took to create that stability in an economy that's somewhat shaky at times. And then me personally, coming from the streets, I had a rough attitude about working for others and that sort of thing. So I bounced from job to job because of my thought process at the time was more, I wouldn't say it was 100% negative, but I was rigid in my thinking in that I could build my own business without a lot of skills. And I tried a lot of different things as it relates to working for myself and building a business for myself. But it's tough to provide for yourself, provide for a family, keep a roof over your head when the income is inconsistent. So I know what it's like, and I know why people fall in love with a job because that consistent paycheck will at least allow you to have some sense of order and stability in your life, even though we know that a job can end at any moment. We understand that. But while that job is going on, you have a sense of stability, a sense of peace because you know that that paycheck is coming. But guys, I want to tell you something. There's nothing like knowing that you can get up, get out, and get something on your own. So we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. I guess we're going to go ahead and get started. It's about 10 after. So thank you guys for joining. I am H. Cortez, also known as the financial health mentor to the working class. And I bring practical, proven wealth building strategies to working class men and women just like you, because I myself am in the process of building wealth through a home-based business while maintaining full-time employment for a local company here in St. Louis, Missouri. So I know what it's all about. And I know all about how to build or what it's like trying to build a business or an empire of your own while you're actually working for someone else. And some of you guys, I mean, it's going to come down to that, your willingness and your ability to burn the candle at both ends. Point blank, period. A lot of times we're working jobs where we're underpaid, we're overworked, and it's tough to find the finances that you need to start acquiring income producing assets so that you can build lasting wealth, so you can invest in that 401k, so you can invest in real estate, so you can buy some stocks and mutual funds and that sort of thing. Sometimes living paycheck to paycheck is just the reality for the majority of us who have jobs here in America. I think the latest statistic that I read was 76% of working class people live paycheck to paycheck, right? And here's what's funny about that. We look at people who seem to be doing better than we are on the surface. They may be driving a nicer car, they may have nicer clothes, they may live in a nicer home, in a nicer neighborhood. But the fact still remains that 76% of Americans who work a job are living paycheck to paycheck. I call it being broke at a higher level, right? One person may be making $2,000 a month, living paycheck to paycheck, struggling at that level. The next person may be living or maybe making $10,000 a month. But guess what? If they're spending $10,000 a month, they're living paycheck to paycheck too. They just broke at a higher level. And people tend to fall into that category. So guys, I want to share with you what it really takes to build wealth and build lasting wealth. And usually I try to prepare some sort of slide deck and share my screen. But guys, I'm just going to talk to you tonight. So if you're used to seeing slides and that sort of thing, forgive me for not preparing a slide deck. But guys, the wealth formula is not that difficult to understand. It's not that difficult to wrap your mind around. What's difficult is exercising the discipline to execute that plan in all of its simplicity. But we're going to talk about how you can do that and how you can partner with a team of people that is really helping people with what it takes to build wealth. So what in your opinion do you think it takes to build wealth? I'll share with you what I think. But first, let me give you my definition of what I think wealth means, because wealth is one of those words that could mean different things to different people, right? So wealth to me is not so much a dollar amount, but more so a methodology in which you acquire your income. All right. So wealth is, to me, is not so much about a dollar amount, but it's more so about a methodology of which in which you acquire income. So for me, a person to me becomes wealthy the moment they are generating enough income to take care of all of their expenses, whether they roll out of bed or not, right? Because I make enough income right now to take care of all of my expenses, but I have to get up and go actively do something to make that income, right? So a wealthy person, on the other hand, has enough money or income coming into his household so that all of their expenses are taken care of, whether they roll out of bed or roll over and continue to sleep in bed, right? So that basically means that wealthy people understand the importance of acquiring income producing assets, right? The assets that will generate revenue for them without them having to actively labor for that income, right? So if you're building wealth, I want, when I say building wealth, I want you to think about that framework of my definition of wealth, because I'm not talking about riches here, and I'm not talking about money here. I'm talking about doing things in a particular way that will generate an income for you that will continue to come in whether you roll out of bed or not. Does that make sense to you guys? So if that makes sense, then let me know in the chat box that that makes sense to you guys. And I want to just kind of continue on, because once you wrap your mind around what wealth actually is, you create a picture of what wealth is to you. Then you can put together a plan that will help you go after and kind of build what that picture of wealth is to you. So I think that in order to build wealth, you have to first have the right mindset. All right. There's no doubt in my mind that wealthy people just think differently than poor people, right? Otherwise, how can you explain how wealthy people continue to get wealthy or maintain their wealth, and poor people always find themselves in poverty and they remain in poverty, right? There must be something different in the way that those two groups of people think that creates their environment, their situations, right? The way that they're thinking in turn affects their actions, and more importantly, not just their actions but their habits, right? If you think a certain way, it produces a certain habit in your life, and those habits create for you your environment, right? So if you have a poverty mindset, then you're going to have broke people habits, and broke people habits will do nothing but keep you broke. On the other hand, if you have a wealthy person's mindset, and eventually you will develop wealthy people habits, and developing those wealthy people habits will create a lifestyle of abundance for you ultimately or eventually, if you maintain those habits, right? So number one, if you're going to build wealth, you have to have the right mindset. And I realize nobody wants to hear that. But it's true. I didn't want to hear that, and I can honestly say to you guys, it did not start to change for me in my bank account until it changed for me up here. Until I started to change the way I think about wealth and what it takes to build wealth, I got myself around a different set of people who challenged me in different areas, who encouraged me to read different books, who encouraged me to watch different videos and audios and that sort of stuff, different from what mainstream is caught up in, right? So what did that mean for me? For me, that made me someone who was outside of the social norm, right? So how does that affect you socially? Socially, when my buddies get together and they want to talk about the game, and they want to talk about football, basketball, or the latest club that popped up in downtown St. Louis, or whatever the case may be, if I'm not plugged in and to those things, then I become a social outcast, so to speak, because I'm not with, you know, for them, current events. All right. On the other hand, if I get around those people who have the wealthy mindset, and I want to talk sports, I want to talk the latest club, and they are of a mindset where they're talking about Robert Kiyosaki, they're talking about Warren Buffett, they're talking about investment strategies, they're talking about wealth building, then I become the social outcast because I'm talking about something that they don't care about. So what I had to do was, once I start shifting my mindset and I start looking at these different ways of thinking in these different modalities, I started to gravitate towards people who were of a like mind. So a like mind, as the Bible says, iron sharpens iron. So when I'm around these guys who are talking about wealth building and different strategies, and they're talking about things that I'm not familiar with, they're recommending books. I have to go back and I have to read and I have to study just to be able to enter into a conversation with them. And in doing so, by changing my association, that changed my beliefs, that changed my thought process, and I began to grow in my financial wisdom. All right. And as a result, it created some different habits within me. So because of my thought process changing, my habits changing, now my bank account is changing. So guys, the mindset part that nobody wants to hear, you have to start developing the mindset of wealthy people. All right. The second thing that you're going to need to build wealth is you're going to need mentorship. Right now, I call myself the financial health mentor because that's what I do. I mentor people who are looking to build wealth, especially those who are working class people, because it is my opinion that working class people typically get the short end of the stick as it relates to um, financial matters and personal financial success. But I myself am being mentored, right? Because I want to acquire wealth at a certain level. And in order for me to do that, I have to be mentored by someone who has already achieved wealth at the level that I want to achieve it. Otherwise, if I'm being mentored by someone who has not done what I want to do, how can they really show me or help me create a game plan to get there? Right? So it's cool to have a good association with people who are like-minded. That helps cultivate your mindset, helps shift your mindset to the right way of thinking. However, if you are going to go to another level, then you have to find mentorship from someone who has been where you're trying to go, right? The ancient have a saying. They basically say that to know the road ahead, you ask those coming back. So if you're going to build wealth, you have to allow yourself to be mentored by, associate with people who have already done it, right? And in fact, one of my mentors, Mr. Brian Bean, has not only become a millionaire, but he lost it all and then got it back. All right. So not only can he tell me how to become a millionaire, he can also tell me how not to lose it like he did. Right. Because that set him back. Now he was able to rebound from that. A lot of people aren't. Don't have the right mindset. He had good mentorship. So if you don't have the right mindset and you don't have a good mentor, then stick around because I'm going to tell you how you can plug into a system that will help you with your mindset and provide mentorship, not by just six-figure earners, because yes, I do have some mentors in my life who are six-figure earners. Not just by seven-figure earners, because yes, I have some mentors in my life who are seven-figure earners. But I'm talking about eight-figure earners, nine-figure earners. We're talking about some extremely wealthy people who are humble enough to want to disseminate this information to the lowliest of the low, people who are hungry to build wealth. That's who we are plugged into. and you will have the opportunity to do that as well if you stick around for another few minutes or so. Now, what you probably want to hear, right? Because this is what most people want. They want get down to the nuts and bolts, get down to the how to, because they don't want to hear mindset, they don't want to hear mentorship. They want get down to the how to. Okay? It is simple. If you're going to build wealth, all right, at any capacity, and when I'm talking about wealth, I'm talking about the definition of wealth that I laid out, because you can do a lot of things and make a whole lot of money, right? But guess what? The moment you stop doing those things, all of that money stops coming in. So does that mean you're wealthy? All right. Ask some of those ball players who were making millions and millions and millions of dollars, who once their careers ended, that money stopped coming in, right? Wasn't because they didn't have the money, right? They had the riches, but they never took the riches and transformed the riches into wealth. Riches and wealth, they're two different things, guys. Wealth is a modality that involves how you draw your income. Riches, I can hit the lottery tomorrow and be extremely rich, but that doesn't make me wealthy until I take those riches and manipulate them in the way that they're going to continue to compound in the way that income grows, that those riches grow. All right. So powerful information, but you want to get to the how to. All right. In order to build wealth, in my opinion, you have to have some sort of vehicle that allows you to make money in your sleep. All right. In other words, you have to have a vehicle that will allow you to create some sort of passive and residual income. Period. Warren Buffett says it best: if you don't have a way to make money while you sleep, you'll never be wealthy. What does that mean? It means you have to have a business system. Not just a business, but a business system. Why? Because a system will run itself, right? A business, a lot of traditional businesses can make you a lot of money, but you have to be there to run them. All right. But if I own a business system, i.e., a McDonald's, and plug all the people in place, then that system will run itself. And I just draw income from that system. Guys, well, I want to talk to you about a business system that you can get access to for just $13, $12.95 to be exact. But why a business system? Because you want to be able to have this system going so it's producing income for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Point blank, period. All right. You want a system that everybody can use. All right. A lot of times you can there's I mean, I don't know how many different types of business systems out there that will allow you to create residual income. All right, that will allow you to create passive income. Real estate allows you to create great passive income, because if you owned an apartment complex and that apartment complex had a mortgage note that cost you $1,000 a month, but you were getting $5,000 a month in rents from the tenants in that apartment complex, that's more than enough for you to cover your $1,000 mortgage. You can cover some of the expenses and maintenance, and you can walk away with a little bit of passive income each and every month. Right? But how many people have the ability to go out there and plop down a lump sum of money for some real estate? Right? But great way to make some passive income. Great way to make some income while you sleep. Right? There are other business systems out there when it comes to network marketing, affiliate marketing. Some of those models are great and allow you to make a great amount of income, and you can make those incomes while you sleep. Network marketing is great in the sense that you can build a team of people and you can earn a few dollars off each one of those people in the team, off their efforts. And as they're growing, in a lot of cases, some of the business systems that I own outside of the opportunity that I'm going to share with you tonight are global institutions. So literally on the other side of the world, when it's daytime there, it's nighttime here. So while I'm sleeping, there's activity going on in my business. So those things that you have to get in place in order to have a great deal of success, right? Or if you're going to start building wealth. So you have to put some things in place in order to make that happen for yourself. Now, here's the crux of what I want to talk to you guys about tonight, and the reason you want to own a business system, and in particular, a home-based business of some sort, right? Because here's what when I open up the conversation at the top of the hour, I told you that we're going to talk about the number one wealth building tool in America, in which case I believe is the United States tax code. All right. There are two tax codes written in the United States. Most people act like they just don't get this, but at the same time, they will complain about corporations taking advantage of this system all the time, right? There's a tax code written for the employee, and then there's a tax code written for the entrepreneur. So I like to say that the game is rigged, but at the same time, it's fair, right? It truly is rigged when you look at the two different tax codes. It's rigged in favor of the entrepreneur, the business owner, all right, the business system owner. It's rigged in the favor of the entrepreneur, right? But it's fair in the sense that right here in America, anybody can become a business owner. Anybody, right? So that makes it fair that at any given point in time, you can go from this tax code that's written for employees to this tax code that's written for business owners. But here's the deal. A lot of people just don't have the wherewithal to make that leap. All right? Because let me help you understand something. A lot of people think one track, and when it comes to business, they think that a business is a high rise in downtown metropolitan area, and that's the only thing that they can think of when they think about business. Even though on a regular and daily basis, they're going to small mom and pop dry cleaners. They're going to a barbershop or beauty salon. They're going to the candy store on the corner. They're going to the local mechanic in the neighborhood. These are all different types of business. They're not high-rise downtown metropolitan area businesses, but they're businesses nonetheless. All right. But then in addition to that, guys, you have to think about this. With the advent of the internet and all of this technology, you can literally have a business in the palm of your hand, right? I do so much business from this little device right here. As long as I have this device here and a internet connection, I'm in business 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, wherever I am on the face of this globe, right? But here's the other thing. Think about this. When it comes to the tax code, right? If I run my business out of my home versus me going to rent space somewhere, right? Because if I rent space somewhere, I create a new bill, right? In my home, if I run my business from my home, that is a space that I'm already paying for, right? But because of the tax code that is written for the entrepreneur, for the business owner, for the business system owner, now the money that I currently pay for my mortgage, a portion of that becomes tax deductible because I run my business from my home, right? And it's simple. If you have a home business and a home office, and your home office takes up 20% of your living space, then 20% of your mortgage is tax deductible every month, right? Why aren't more people taking advantage of this, right? 20% of your mortgage can become tax deductible. Now you're saying, well, wait, I already write off my mortgage interest because the government says I can. Well, the government also says you can write off a portion of your mortgage if you run your business from your home as well. So you can write off your mortgage interest rate as a person, and then as a business owner, you can write off a percentage of your actual mortgage. And guess what? If you rent an apartment, you don't get that mortgage interest rate write-off. But if you rent an apartment and you have a home-based business that you run from that apartment, then a percentage of your rent becomes tax deductible. Guys, that one tip alone can save you thousands of dollars, can reduce your taxable income by thousands of dollars. And here's what I want to help you understand. The reason people are living paycheck to paycheck is because of taxes, inflation, and debt. And because of these three things, they can't do the main thing that you have to do to build wealth, which is acquire income producing assets, right? In order to build wealth, you have to acquire income producing assets. But if you're drowning in debt, you're being overtaxed, and you don't have a way to outpace inflation, you don't have the money that you need to start acquiring the income producing assets. Guys, it's that simple. Building wealth is that simple. But here's where I want to tell you about the $13 business that Uncle Sam doesn't want you to know about. Guys, the business that I'm trying to tell you guys about or share an opportunity with you to plug into, this $13 business that you can plug into for a limited time will teach you how to take advantage of the tax code to build wealth, will provide for you the tools that you need to take advantage of the tax code to build wealth, will educate you once you take advantage of the tax code and start building that wealth, will educate you on what it means to buy income producing assets. So when you get your cash flow straight and you create this windfall of cash on a regular and consistent basis, because if you're overpaying your taxes, and we can share with you how to get some of that money back that you're giving to Uncle Sam on a monthly basis, right? We want to help you identify where you're losing that money and bring it back into your household. Then we're going to encourage you to take that money that you're getting back into your household that you were overpaying to Uncle Sam, and then start minimizing your debt. You start minimizing your debt and eliminating the interest that you're paying to the big banking institutions, the world banks, and those sorts of places. That money comes back into your household. Now, all of a sudden, you have extra money to start acquiring some income producing assets. Now, we will educate you on how money works in that capacity. So when you sit down across from a financial planner, they're not the only one in the room with all the knowledge. It's that simple, guys. But you have to plug into a system that will help you do that. So for $13, $12.95, you can plug into a system that will help you do just that. All right, so I will put a link in the description of this video below so that you can partner with me, or if you were invited to this webinar by someone else, get back with the person who invited you to this hangout and let them know that you have some interest in knowing more about the $13 business that Uncle Sam doesn't want you to know about. Because once you get a full understanding about the process that we like to call income shifting, then you'll understand that you no longer have to let your money get away from you. All right. You start looking at your financial situation through the lens of being a business owner, and you start looking at the ability to take a lot of the current expenses that you have right now and make them legal, legitimate, tax deductible expenses. Right. Today, I drove my vehicle to McDonald's, where I sat down with a young lady who had some questions about what it is that I do. All right. That drive was about 21, 22 miles to get to that particular location where she wanted to meet. Guys, Uncle Sam will allow you to write off 57.5 cents per mile driven in 2015 for every mile that you drive for business. Guys, understand how powerful that is. All right. Now, how does that impact you in the long run. All right, think about this. If you made $50,000 per year, right? As an employee, you're going to make that $50,000 per year. Uncle Sam is going to tax you right off the top. So you're probably going to bring home 32, 33,000, right? At most 35,000. So 15,000 just gone right off the top. All right. If you're like 90% of America, you have debt. So you're going to pay another 15,000 of that in interest for your loans on your car, your loans on your house. God forbid you got any payday loans or other high interest revolving debt like credit card debts and that sort of thing, right? You're gonna pay another 15,000 in debt, and then you're going to probably spend another. So you're gonna pay that in taxes. Then you're gonna deal with debt. So that will leave you anywhere from $14,000 to $20,000 to try to live on, right? From a $50,000 a year salary. Now think about it from the other perspective. All right, I got $50,000, or I make $50,000 a year. I'm still going to pay the same bills, guys. I'm going to pay a mortgage. I'm going to pay electric, gas. I'm going to pay a cell phone bill. I'm going to pay for internet services. I'm going to pay maintenance on my car, maintenance on my house. All of these things that I currently pay for right now, but as a home-based business owner, a percentage of all of those bills are going to be tax deductible, right? So say, for instance, I live my normal lifestyle that I live right now, but as a home-based business owner, I incorporate my business into a lot of the activities that I currently do. So I have $50,000 a year job or salary. All right. I spend $15,000 a year on my regular lifestyle, and that which I incorporated into my business. Then I take another 15,000, and I'm doing the things that I do, pay the mortgage and all of that kind of thing. And if I go on trips, vacations, or what have you, then that brings me down to 20,000, guys. So here's the difference. At the beginning, the person who was an employee, they had a $50,000 salary, and they paid up to $18,000 in taxes right off the top. All right. Me, as a business owner, I got the same $50,000 salary. I was able to spend my money first on my business and reduce my taxable income down to 20,000. So instead of being taxed 18,000 on 50, I'd be taxed 7,000 on 20. You get that? I can pay $18,000 in taxes by being an employee only, or I can pay roughly 7,000 in taxes because I have a home-based business. Now, let me give you my disclaimer. I'm not a tax accountant or anything to that effect, and the numbers that I'm throwing out, I'm pulling off the top of my head. So don't. They're not written in stone, but that's roughly what you pay as an employee. You roughly pay 33% of your income in taxes before you even touch it. So that's just an example of how you can reduce your taxable income and pay less in taxes. So that's a $12,000 savings, $13,000 savings that you have the ability to take advantage of by simply having a home-based business. All right. So here's what I want you to do. Get back with the person who invited you to take a look at this this webinar. And I know I rambled on, and you know, it takes a special kind of mind to even be able to keep up with the things that I talk about, and I jump all over the place. But if you heard anything that piqued your interest even a little bit, they'll be able to get you to a professional overview of the program that we call income shifting, and maybe it'd be more clear to you there. But I just like to get on these things and just talk about what I'm doing, let people know that I am a real, genuine person. I am here to help people build wealth using the strategy that I'm teaching. You can plug into what we're doing for just $12.95. You can have a home-based business that teaches you how to take advantage of the tax code. And if you're ambitious enough to learn what it takes to share this information with other people, you can earn commissions and speed up your wealth building process, because you can not only use the strategies to save money, to bring money back into your household, but you can earn $1,000 commissions over and over and over again by sharing this opportunity with others. Guys, plug in for $13, $12.95 to be exact. Get back with the person who invited you to take a look at what it is that we're doing. Let them know that you would like to, you kind of heard some things in my 45 minutes of rambling that piqued your interest, and you would like to plug in to our team here and learn more about what it is that we do, and that you like to take a look at that professional overview so you can get a clear picture of what it is that we do. And let us know if you see an opportunity for yourself. Guess what? We're educators, guys. We just educate you on what you have the ability to do, and how you can use the tax code to build wealth. And if you don't see an opportunity for yourself, it's okay to tell us no. We're grown men and women. And we know, just statistically speaking, that 90% of Americans will never do anything like what we're presenting to you here. All right. So we have thick enough skin to talk to 10 people just to find that right one who want to plug in and run with us and help us create these 100 millionaire families over the next 10 years. Guys, I'm H. Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class. If you were invited by me, or you saw this on one of my pages, I will have a link below. If you were invited by someone else, get back with that person, because they thought about you in the capacity to say, hey, here's someone that I would like to lock arms with long term on a wealth building journey, and I can see us hanging out on the beaches of the world as we build this thing nationwide. So they thought enough of you to invite you to take a look at what it is that we're doing. So at the very least, get back to them, ask them, or let them know that you want more information, or tell them that the guy they sent you to rambled on and on and on, and you couldn't understand what I was talking about, and you're not interested. Either way, there will be no love lost. I promise we won't look at you funny. I promise we will never approach you again about this information, because there's 300 million people in America, 100 million people working class, and 90% of those people are struggling financially. We're going to find that 100 families that want to run with us. Someone just thought highly enough of you to share this with you to see if you were one of them. So I'm going to get out of here because I can talk and talk and talk and talk. But I appreciate you guys stopping by, sharing this information with me. I'm H. Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class. Click the link below if you were invited by me. Otherwise, get back with the person who advised you to take a look at this, hang out, and get your questions answered. And we'll see you on the next video. Until then, get your money up.